Steve Yzerman stands 7th all-time in NHL scoring with 1,755 points. His 692 goals and 1,063 assists both rank among the top 10. He won the Stanley Cup 3 times, taking home the Conn Smyth in 1998. In 2000, he won the Selke as the league's best defensive forward. And in 2003, he won the Masterton for perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the game. Although he never won the Hart as NHL MVP, he was voted the best player by his peers and awarded the Pearson in 1989. Yzerman was drafted in 1983, a year after the Ilitch family purchased the Red Wings. Those were lean times for the team, with the Wings making just 2 playoff appearances from 1967 to 1983. In their desperation to draw fans, ownership resorted to giving away cars at games. The Wings were desperate for a spark, and they found it when they took Yzerman with the 4th overall pick. At just 18, Detroit threw him into the fray of the NHL, and he responded with 87 points in his first season. He was a great skater, had a hockey IQ beyond his years, and was fiercely competitive. By the late 80s, it was clear that Gretzky and Lemieux were the best players in the league, but he was right there behind them. He carried the Red Wings in the late 80s and early 90s, putting up a career-high 155 points in 1989. Yzerman's story is so woven into the fabric of Hockey Town that he's a legend in the city. He came into the league as a gifted scorer who faced years of playoff heartaches, until Scotty Bowman took the helm in 1993. Bowman taught the team to play defense, and before long, the Wings started winning championships. It's not that Yzerman couldn't play defense. He finished 11th in Selke voting in 1989. But it wasn't until Bowman came to town that he fully embraced the defensive commitment that's required to win championships. Before Bowman arrived in Detroit, Yzerman had 6 100-plus point seasons and no championships. After Bowman's arrival, he never hit 100 points again, but won 3 Stanley Cups. In Bowman's second year, the season was cut short to 48 games. A couple years removed from scoring 58 goals, Yzerman found himself with just 3 goals in 24 games, the lowest shooting percentage of his career. Though with the Russian 5 and Nick Lidstrom on board, Detroit was less reliant on their captain to produce offense. Yzerman's willingness to commit to defense was a huge factor in the Wings winning the President's Trophy and reaching the Stanley Cup Finals in 1995. Unfortunately for the Red Wings, they were swept by the Devils. The next season ended with more playoff heartbreak, as the Wings bowed out to the Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. But in the years that followed, the Red Wings cemented themselves as a dynasty, winning back-to-back in 1997 and 98, and again in 2002. And Yzerman was at the center of it all. By the time he won the Conn Smyth in 1998, Yzerman had already played more than 1,000 NHL games, and had done enough statistically to be a Hall of Famer. His willingness to buy into Bowman's system set an example for the rest of the team, which ultimately translated into a resurgence of Red Wings hockey. As a result, Yzerman is a revered figure in Detroit. As a leader, he wasn't one to raise his voice. Instead, he led by example, diving to block shots, backchecking with intensity, and setting the pace in the gym. In the latter years of his career, especially during the 2002 Cup run, his quiet leadership was on full display. During the Olympics that year, his long-troubled right knee acted up again. He won gold with Canada, but missed all of March in the NHL, coming back only for the last game before the playoffs. The Wings had added 3 Hall of Famers to their lineup, and faced immense pressure to win the Cup. The playoffs started poorly, with Detroit losing games 1 and 2 at home against Vancouver. Yzerman knew it was time to speak up. He called a meeting, and without raising his voice, he reminded the team of their strengths, urging everyone to stay calm and focus on playing their game. Even though Yzerman had returned for the playoffs, his leg wasn't at 100%. He could barely stand, but there was no way he wasn't playing. Detroit rallied, overcoming Vancouver, then St. Louis and Colorado, to earn a spot in the Cup Finals. In triple overtime of Game 3 of the Finals, Yzerman's teammates saw his dedication in full force. Their captain played 37 minutes on one leg, and the team emerged with the win. A few days later, Yzerman accepted the Cup from NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman for the 3rd time. Following his retirement in 2006, Yzerman found success working in Detroit's front office under Ken Holland, and carried that success into his tenure as the Lightning's GM in Tampa Bay. Now Yzerman is back in Detroit as GM, and trying to revive the Red Wings once again. That's all for this look back at the captain. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to support the channel.